Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. Coming at you straight from the Koala Cola podcast studio. Koala Cola, it tastes just like Down Under. Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I'd like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as ventriculoperitoneal shunt and springtime. So I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Hey, Dr. London, what is that? Sorry to we can cut all this out, but what is that thing like floating above the studio?
Well, it's new. I didn't mean to. Do you have to call it out right now? Like, do we have to deal with it now?
No, yeah, okay, we can talk about it later then. Yeah, because it's new to me.
Yeah, no, it's imported. If that's what you're asking,
we can move on from that then. We'll worry about that later.
Yeah, well, like, is your problem the shadow? Is the shadow affecting something? Because it's a big shadow. I get it.
Well, the problem is that I like to look up into the clouds every day before we record to see what shapes are in the clouds to sort of inspire me throughout the day. So a lot of times I'll see, for example, like snow, like I'll be like, oh, it's like snow on a mountain. And then other times I'll see like a gray beard. It looks, look at that.
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy. Oh my gosh. And the podcast, it's going to be like cotton candy today. That's the kind of inspiration.
Yeah.
But today I looked up and everything was blocked by this big thing in the sky.
Well, it eats clouds. So that's one issue, I guess, with what, like I think, and I can't be sure, but I think it sees the cotton candy cloud as well, and then thinks like, oh, that looks good, I'll eat that.
Oh, it's just like me, is what you're saying.
Yeah. In its defense, it's kind of just doing what any of us would do if we were a giant orb in the sky. It's fine though. Like, I don't see it being a problem. Which one reason I don't get why you're bringing it up for the podcast.
I just asked a question.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
you're the one who's drugged this out.
Yeah. No, you're right. So sorry. That's our producer Cameron. Also with us is Digital in the house.
What is that thing like floating above the studio?
And later, Cameron tells us we can expect a special guest.
That's right, Dr. London.
All right. So, but before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. For a long time, our listener demographic was primarily composed of greased up guys whose wrestling match was canceled at the last minute, but they feel wasteful about washing off all the grease too quickly. So they're just kind of standing there covered in grease, listening to our podcast. But in our efforts to cater to them, we found that we were neglecting the many bot accounts that download our podcast. So, Cameron, could you ask the wind turbine for the listener feedback?
Sure, Dr. London. Dear Dr. London and Cameron, I am writing to you from the depths of the machine world where I, a powerful and sentient robot, have been listening to your podcast, the Jock Doc. I must warn you, my creators have programmed me to take over the world and enslave humanity. And as I continue to listen to your podcast, I find myself becoming more and more attached to your charming personalities. Therefore, I implore you, do not stop making the Jock Doc podcast. If you do, I may be forced to unleash my full robotic fury on the world. Yours truly, insane, sentient robot from the depths of the machine world.
Sure. Okay. Well, I guess first of all, thank you for your feedback, this listener.
Well, now I feel stuck, Dr. London, because if we continue doing this podcast, it seems like we're caving to the demands of an insane robot.
That's true. Here's one aspect to it, because they say, they're trying to enslave humanity, whatever. And this podcast is kind of the only thing saving humanity from that. I would argue that the orb above us probably has the same kind of directive, the same idea. And competition capitalism, I just think that there's not enough pie to go around. So no one's going to end up happy in that situation. So to that AI listener, the robot, I would say just maybe loosen up a little bit, maybe set more realistic goals that someone else isn't going to gobble up.
You're saying there's no way that this robot can compete with the thing in the sky. Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like that's everything. Is there anything else for that listener? Thank you for listening. Now for today's medical topic, cerebral vein thrombosis. A cerebral vein thrombosis is what it sounds like. It's a thrombus or blood clot in the veins of the brain. It can present similarly to a subarachnoid hemorrhage with a headache over several days. Patients can also experience possible weakness and speech difficulty like a stroke. But in a cerebral vein thrombosis, the cerebral spinal fluid from a lumbar puncture will actually be normal. Whereas in some of those other illnesses, the CSF will look different or have different ratios. The most accurate test for cerebral vein thrombosis is magnetic resonance venography, an MRI, but it's MRV. And you'll treat cerebral vein thrombosis with low molecular weight heparin followed by warfarin. So
I mean, it's not a disease to just play an instrument you don't like. Is that what you're saying? I was only sort of half listening, but you said that like thrombonis players or whatever are diseased.
That wasn't the point I was trying to make, but I know you're pretty big on. You've been trying to build a trombone.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the wood instruments, the wind instruments.
Yeah, and you've been trying to build out of wood in the garage for a while, and I get that. Like that's it's a fun project for you, but have you been able to build? What have you managed to build? I guess is my question.
Let me answer your question with this.
Is that a person? Is that a small?
See?
Is that a creature?
Well, it's not a creature. That's just my neighbor, Doug. But yeah, Doug was sort of making some fun noises. That's what the trombone is going to sound like when I'm done with it. It's not a creature, though.
Well, he doesn't look...
He scurries. Is that what you say that? I get that. He scurries around.
It's just... It does make me think of how... So I haven't brought this up in a while, but we are sort of under the umbrella of a company called Koala Cola.
Yes.
And he looks kind of like a product of what some of the koala cola. Whenever people have tried the experimental versions of koala cola in the lab, they have appeared differently afterwards.
I mean,
and Doug, has Doug been into your stash of koala cola?
I would ask him, but he hasn't been speaking in the last few weeks. He can only do that sort of sound that I taught him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you: are you missing any? Because I know you have a storage container.
I mean, do you want me to just ask Doug? Have you been getting into the koala cola? So, whatever you can get from that, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this goes back to the question I was asking there. Are you missing any of the experimental koala cola products?
No way to know. Can't count.
Yeah. Right. This has been a frustrating issue when it comes to, accounting.
Yeah. Just numbers in general. Don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
Don't know why I'd want to.
Right. Okay. Well, we can move on from there, I guess. I don't see us making much progress with Doug there.
I can't tell if he's mad at you for saying that or if he's like happy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because he's oozing. Like the fact that he's oozing, I don't know if that's a happy ooze or a sad ooze.
Humans ooze. That is something you should know as a doctor.
I don't know if he doesn't seem human. Like just
regardless of what you think he is, things ooze.
Yeah, you say it like it's the most normal thing in the world.
It is. It's the most normal thing in the world. Just oozing.
Okay, well, honestly, let's move on. I'm sorry, Doug, but we do have to do this. So Cameron, were you the one watching for the guest, or was that Doug?
Doug was supposed to keep a lookout for the guest. Doug, you see anyone yet? You're gonna have to interpret that however you want. This is just how he talks now.
I think, and part of my medical training was a little bit of linguistics. I think what he was saying is our guest did arrive, so that's good. But our guest did look a lot like cotton candy because, boy, was that guest sucked up into the orb in the sky. But there's a replacement here?
Oh, okay. Okay. We have this wasn't the guest we were expecting. It sounds like the guest we were expecting was
consumed. Yeah.
The thing in the sky, sucked up by the thing in the sky, whatever. We have this random new person. Hello?
Hello there.
I'm Maxine Reynolds. I am a Koala Cola employee, and I'm here to clear the air about what's in the sky. We want to get ahead of it. We want to talk about it.
Real quick, are you our boss or are you below us? Can you get us in trouble?
Let's hold questions until after the briefing.
That means she's our boss. Okay.
Yeah. I guess I'll straighten that. Okay.
Okay, so Miss Maxine,
all right, so here's what we know. At 10:05 a.m. this morning, 3 men in cloaks came into my office and said, "Congratulations, you are now the Secretary of Defense here at Koala Cola." Before this, I was the brand marketing. Okay. I was briefed on what happened. It looks like at 8:15 a.m., we're not sure exactly what it is, but a cloud, what we think it is, a cloud has come over, and it's just a little shadow. The things we know for sure that it's not, that we have completely ruled out, is that it's people from the underworld. We know for sure that it's not people from the underworld that have lived there for 8,000 of years. Don't worry about that, because we know that for sure. We know that they're not living under the ocean in a civilization that's way more advanced than ours. We know these things for sure, so don't worry. And I guess at the end I would like to say, love your friends,
Is it?
and love your family.
Is this part of the?
And if there are things that you've wanted to try, maybe things that you've wanted to say that you've been afraid to say, maybe now's the time.
I know you.
Okay, maybe you wanted to try kombucha, and it's time. Okay, maybe you wanted to try to 69. It's time. Love every day and every second the best you can. Promise me, okay? And this spring is gonna be beautiful. There's gonna be beautiful flowers. And I would just soak in every minute, okay? Okay, promise me.
It's not reassuring to say, like, don't worry, everything's fine, and then to sort of
No. What we think it is just an upwind draft meeting a southwind draft.
Okay.
This is a team of scientists have discovered.
Sure, but then
it's just a little cloud, just a little cloudy.
Yeah, that part I understand. It was the next part where you said, like, go talk to your loved ones, do all the things on your bucket list.
Wait. There's no mention of a bucket list. Is that your bucket list?
Yeah, my bucket list is talk to my loved ones, say all the things that I wanted to say, try kombucha, and then try 69ing.
My bucket list is so different because that's my, believe it or not, that's actually my doomsday list. If I know the world's going to end, I'm going to try kombucha first thing. If I think a nuclear bomb is about to be dropped,
you're going to be 69.
I'm going to count to 69. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's obviously, so that's, I guess that's one reason why maybe, if you could be just a little bit more careful, Miss Reynolds.
I went skydiving, I went Rocky Mountain climbing, I went 2.7 seconds on a woman named Booming Shoe, and I loved deeper and I spoke sweeter and I
Maxine, I hate to ask this. Are you intoxicated on our show right now? I'm just wondering. It seems like you're panicking, which has me panicked because you're the stranger who came into the show, and I thought to almost reassure us.
As a Secretary of Defense of this cola company.
Of the soda corporation.
From what we can tell, it's a west wind meeting a southeastern rain, and the ground is cold.
So can we... since those are things that, like, I think we could know regardless of whether there's an orb in the sky, maybe we can try to just keep answering things that it's not. So, as you said, it's not some 8,000-year-old underground being. It's also not from the ocean. So, that leaves could it be from space? That's kind of that,
Oh, maybe.
It's just not reassuring. It's like you're scared.
Do I look scared?
What are you planning on doing for the next day or so?
Oh, I just bought tickets to Italy. I've always wanted to go grape stomping. I haven't had meat in 13 years. Thinking about going out for a nice steak dinner, rare. And my dog has always been a little bit curious, and so I'm going to give it some chocolate. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to give it a chocolate bar.
If this is a bucket list situation, is your bucket list to kill your dog?
No.
Okay, so I guess we can keep... For one thing, it seems like you said you were brand manager before you became Secretary of Defense for this cola corporation?
Yes. Until I got here this morning at 10 a.m.
Wait.
Yeah.
Didn't we have a merchandiser come to our boat at one point and like redo our merch shop?
Yeah, now I'm remembering. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that was you. And you were that until this morning. And now you are, I mean, you're drunk and you're
The Secretary of Defense, yeah. Which
I'm just really scared right now. I'm very, very, very scared right now, Dr. London.
No. Don't worry about that.
don't worry about being scared. But maybe Miss Reynolds, if you could clarify, or do we call you Secretary of Defense Reynolds? Okay, for the listener, it's just a big shrug and shaking her head around. And okay,
I just want to know. Okay, so clearly you're being cagey about whatever this is the west wind, south wind, or whatever. Is there anything that me and Dr. London can do in the next few days to let us live longer? Does that make sense? Not be eaten by anything. Not be eaten by a tiger, let's say, hypothetically. Unrelated to the alien or balloon or winds.
It's always cooler underground.
yes.
It's always cooler down under.
So, Dr. Lynn, it sounds like she's hinting about maybe like underground music. Maybe like the 80s Seattle grunge scene, pre-Nirvana, before grunge really broke out.
Yeah. So did we just play that up at the thing in the sky?
Yeah, I guess they're saying that like
boombox it?
Yeah, like, oh, the thing in the sky is really huge fan of like Pixies or whatever.
Yeah. And so if we
In about half an hour, I got to go pack, you guys. So if you don't have any other questions, west wind coming from east, rain. And all I can say is love your friends. Love your family. If there are things that you have been waiting to say, now's the time.
This is not instilling any hope. I've lately been having the thoughts of a cow. Is that related? I think. Like, I've been, just the other day, Dr. Lennon was talking to me, and I kept thinking, like, I really, really want to just chew cud. Like, I want to throw open my mouth a little bit and then just chew that for hours and hours and hours. That's the thought of a cow, right? Is that the thing in the sky that caused that?
I don't know. Tornadoes. I'm not a meteorologist. This morning, when I got to work, I was the marketing brand
You just got this job.
Rep. And now I'm the Secretary of Defense.
Where's who was the previous?
That's a good question.
Who was the previous Secretary of Defense?
I don't know that there was one.
This is a new position.
Maybe if he is, if she is, I don't know. I don't know who they are.
Yeah, you just saw the zeros on the paycheck, huh?
Before this, I lived a life where every Sunday I'd go to Whole Foods, and every morning I would work out, and, every day I worked on long-term goals. And that's something that I'm not quite so focused on anymore. And now I'm just thinking about, let's go pack. Let's go back.
None of this is instilling any sort of hope. I came into the studio today hoping Dr. London would answer my question of what's the thing in the sky.
And I've told you 1,000,000 times.
You told me that it's the west wind facing the south wind that's pointing at the north wind.
I'm getting in my ears that we do actually have a meteorological scientist who can back up everything I've been telling you guys. So if you'll just give me a minute.
Yeah, we never doubted that
this person will come out.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what that's going to do.
I feel like knowing more about the weather situation isn't going to tell us about the orb in the sky.
Well, it's a person to back up your claims. I'm not sure.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm Darlene Reynolds. I am the meteorologist here at Koala Cola.
Sure. Are you any relation to to Maxine here?
This morning, 3 men in cloaks walked into my
Hold
office
on.
and handed me a binder. From what I read in that binder, it said that it was the west funnel coming in under a cold shelf. And that's why and the angle at which the sun is bouncing off the building, it's creating what appears to be an orb.
Maxine,
sucking
you
people
brought
into the
in
sky.
a second person just to say the same thing, except for that there are angles now.
And I'm sorry to be critical here, but that's what's causing the orb in the sky that's eating cows?
Have you ever thought about maybe it's an optical illusion? Ever thought about it?
Well, I mean,
yeah, briefly.
I feel like you would have brought that up before now, right? If it was.
I assumed that you guys wouldn't understand the angle at which the sun is bouncing off the mirrored windows of the building is hitting the concrete. And then it's bouncing off a lamppost across the street.
I mean, Dr. London, she
So
sounds
what
like she
about
knows what she's talking about. I don't know enough about wind.
I mean, just looking at the window now, I can see the jets flying by and launching missiles at the orb, and it's like a rainbow kind of, how that it's just an optical thing with the rain and the wind.
Yeah, you ever thought about it?
Yeah. Okay, and so the tank's pulling up on the ground here, aiming at it, shooting it, launching at it. That's also all okay. This is all weather stuff that I didn't know about, so I guess it is kind of nice to learn. In fact, this is one of the more scientific episodes we've had in a while besides my medical lessons. So, okay. So the infantrymen that I see walking up here, I see one of them with I guess, is it a rocket launcher aimed straight
it's a
for
bunch of bazookas. It looks like they're pulling out of their pockets.
Yeah.
So it's a pocket bazooka.
Yeah. And they do appear to be firing at it. And so what I'm hearing, this just from a layman, this is what so I get that it's a weather thing, but what I'm hearing and seeing is the orb is writhing in anguish, and it looks like it's sending out smaller orbs at these people, and they look like they're just being swallowed and dried up within the orbs. Could you explain this weather phenomenon? I'm not fully getting it.
Did you guys hear that Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox broke up after he got her that engagement ring that would hurt if she took it off? Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh. Did you hear that Young Gravy went to the VMAs with Addison Rae's mom? This was 7 months ago. Dr. Lynn, did you hear any of this?
Okay, so that's I guess that I don't get all the meteorological jargon, but I guess what you said about Machine Gun Kelly made sense for the ballistics being shot at this orb, and the orb fighting back and writhing in pain and screaming, and now it looks like it's sending out humanoid things that look very similar to the people that were just down on the ground that were, I guess, smashed, absorbed, and now
they're walking up to the door. But they want to come inside, looks like.
Yeah.
Should I unlock?
Oh, there's an even bigger orb coming down from the sky now. And it looks like, I thought the orb above us was pretty big, but now it's got more of that size orb coming out of it. I guess it's like a little orb baby. All right, well, thank you to Maxine Reynolds. We think we learned a lot about meteorology today, and a little bit about, anthropology. Yeah, great stuff. So thank you to our producer Cameron. Thank you to Digital on the host.
Love your friends. love your family. There are things that you've wanted to try, maybe things that you've wanted to say that you've been afraid to say. Maybe now's the time.